Hello and welcome. I'm so glad everybody is here. Today we're going to be talking about how to get the most from your hearing aids. So it looks like everyone has joined. Let's go ahead and begin. My name is Dr. Maria Morrison and I am an audiologist at Geneva Hearing Services. For those of you that are not familiar with Geneva Hearing, we are a private independent practice servicing the Fox Valley community since 2006. We offer a wide range of services, and if you want to look those over, you can go to our website at www.genevahearing.com to check that out. Today, we are going to talk about a few things. First, I do want to review goals. What a typical patient goal is, as well as what a typical provider or audiologist goal is. We're going to talk about what a tool is and the tools that we use. And then, of course, how to know when intervention is needed. You know, when do we need to repair, reprogram, or replace technology? So with patient goals, on the screen are just your typical patient goals. It could include better hearing on the phone, right? Perhaps you want to reduce frustrations that you're feeling in noisy environments, or you don't want to be embarrassed about misunderstanding or miscommunication. You just want to be able to engage and communicate more easily. And these are important goals, and of course we're going to make sure as providers that these goals that we're able to succeed at these goals, and that we're able to make sure that you are hearing as best as you can in the environments that most important to you. Again, as an audiologist, as a provider, we tend to have different goals. Of course, our goals are to make sure that you're meeting your goals, but in addition to that, we want to make sure that your brain is getting adequate stimulation. Your brain is like a muscle, and like any other muscle, it needs to be stimulated regularly in order to function properly. And there's a part of your brain that's normally stimulated by sound, and if we don't stimulate your brain with sound, that part of the brain, that tissue, begins to wither away or atrophy. Very similar to what happens to your muscle when you're in a cast. And so the old saying of, if you don't use it, you lose it, is very appropriate for this type of situation. If we're not stimulating our brain with sound, our brain loses its ability to interpret or understand sound. Now, in addition, there's lots of research that shows that when we go years without stimulating our brain with sound, it actually increases our risk for memory and dementia later in life. And it's because of these studies, it's because we know these things, that as an audiologist, when patients come in because they're not hearing well and they want to get hearing aids, one of our goals is to make sure that your brain is receiving adequate stimulation. But how do we ensure that we're meeting these goals? The way to do that is by using tools. And a hearing aid is a tool. It's an instrument used for doing work to help you accomplish your goal. And of course, you know, a hearing aid, it's a small electronic that amplifies sound. It's a tool to help you hear better and to stimulate your brain. But over time, these tools, these small electronic devices, can wear down due to regular wear and tear. For example, on here I have directional microphones won't work. So a directional microphone, when a directional microphone is working properly, it's reducing the sound from behind you, allowing you to focus on what's coming from in front of you. And if the directional microphone is not working properly, you're going to have increased difficulties understanding in noise. And so again, over time, regular wear and tear is going to affect the hearing aid's ability to work effectively and efficiently. What happens is we start to have some difficulties, right? This is when intervention is needed. You're going to have to ask people to repeat. You will ask people to turn the volume up on the TV, right? Background noise is going to become even more bothersome. But most importantly, that means that your brain is not being appropriately stimulated which can impact your ability to understand speech. And so we want to talk today about, well, what do we do when this is happening? And how do we know what to do when this is happening? And the first step is, of course, preventative maintenance. So with preventative maintenance, it allows us to keep your devices working well, but also lengthen the lifespan of your hearing aids. As you probably already know, hearing aids don't last forever. A typical lifespan of a hearing aid is 4 to 6 years. And over time, that device will start to break down and work less efficiently. And so preventative maintenance is going to keep it working as best as it can. And of course, we want to do regular cleanings on your device. Annual hearing evaluations are really important. If you think about if you have a vision loss and you have glasses, you visit your optometrist once a year and you get your vision tested, and if there's changes in your vision, you get a new prescription in your lenses. It's the same thing for hearing aids. If there's changes in your hearing aid, we need to reprogram the hearing aids to best match your hearing loss. Test box measures allows us to assess the hearing aid to make sure that it's meeting manufacturer specifications and working appropriately. And then of course, real ear verification allows us to ensure two things. It's going to ensure that one, the hearing aid is programmed appropriately for your hearing loss, but then it's also going to ensure that you are getting adequate brain stimulation. But let's talk about the preventative maintenance and kind of how we do that. What tools do we use? So this is a picture of a Jody vac. For regular cleanings, we dehumidify and suction the hearing aids. What we first do is we take the hearing aid, of course we wipe it down. We have to sanitize it because it's going to go into this Jody vac, which is used with lots of different hearing aids. So we sanitize the hearing aid. We're going to take off a dome or a wax trap if it's on the hearing aid, and we're going to put it into our dehumidifier. And in the dehumidifier, it's going to reduce or remove any moisture that's in the hearing aid. Moisture gets in the hearing aid just from wearing it, right? You sweat, that gets into the hearing aid. Oils from your skin and oils from the wax can get into the hearing aid, as well as just accidentally wearing it into the shower, right? We've all done it. It happens. And so moisture can get in there. Well, if enough moisture gets in there, or if moisture is in there for a long enough period, it's going to affect the function of the hearing aids. And so we want to dehumidify the devices. Now, once they're dehumidified, we use this teeny tiny little suction tube, and it's going to go in there to the receiver, the speaker of the hearing aid. We're going to suction out the microphones where sound is picked up, and we're going to clean out the battery compartment. And again, these in the longevity of the hearing aid to keep it functioning as best as it can for as long as it can, okay? Then we can also test the hearing aid. This is going to let us know if it needs to be repaired. So what you're looking at is a picture of our test box, and it allows us to make sure the hearing aid is meeting the manufacturer specifications to make sure it's working properly. So here's just a zoomed in picture. If we look, we've got an in the ear hearing aid and a behind the ear hearing aid. And so here it is in the test box. These green little areas are microphones as well as a reference microphone. And so in the test box, it's going to present a bunch of different sounds. And then that blue arrow is pointing to the reference microphone that's going to pick up what's coming out of the hearing aid and graph it to let us know if it's meeting manufacturer specifications. And it looks like this when we're looking at the graph. It's going to let us know if you look at those plus signs. The plus signs are kind of the target. That's where the hearing aid should be hitting. And if it's not hitting those plus signs, we know that the hearing aid needs to be sent in for repair. Okay, so that's repairing the hearing aid. Now, in the next slide, we're going to show you a video of what it's like to have real ear verification done. So in this video, we have the screen and the speaker, and then the person is wearing a probe microphone in her ear. That's where that red line is pointing to, along with the hearing aid. And so there's this tiny little microphone deep inside the ear at the level of the eardrum. and then the hearing aid's on there. And so we're listening to some speech. We're listening to soft speech, medium speech, and loud speech through the speakers. And then that little microphone that's inside your ear canal is actually measuring what's coming out of the hearing aid, and it's graphing it in relationship to your hearing loss. So we know for soft speech, for medium speech, and for loud speech, are we giving you appropriate amplification? Are we stimulating your brain adequately? And that's with real ear verification. Now, once we do real ear verification and we see maybe we're not giving you adequate amplification, or at a few frequencies your brain is not being stimulated, we can reprogram the hearing aids and then rerun the real ear verification to make sure that now that we've reprogrammed it, we're getting where we need to be. So real ear verification is really important. We do try to do it on all of our patients at least once a year because, again, as there's changes in your hearing, we want to account for that in the programming of the devices, okay? So how do you know when to replace it? So this is a tough question. I rarely replace a hearing aid based on age. You know, a hearing aid can be 8 years old and still working appropriately, believe it or not. Now, not all of them, right? The oils in our skin will break down the hearing aid. Just wear and tear is going to break down the hearing aid. But certainly, if you're struggling a lot, even after we've repaired and reprogrammed the hearing aid, it's a sign to replace it. If it's really expensive to repair a hearing aid because of the age, it might be time to replace it. But also, technology advancements. Sometimes there's some really good advancements in technology that can positively impact your ability to communicate, and that's a reason that you might want to replace the device as well. Let's talk about some technology. There's some advancements that are geared to help you hear better, right? I mean, that's what you think the purpose of a hearing aid is, right? It's to help you hear better. And then there's other advancements that are really more of a convenience in the use of the hearing aid and not so much for the clarity of the hearing aid, but there's always new advancements out there. Let's go ahead. We'll first talk about convenience, okay? So here's just a screenshot of a couple of different rechargeable devices. So rechargeability is really a convenience. It's not necessarily going to improve your ability to communicate. It helps you to not have to worry about whether or not you've got a good battery, or keep batteries on hand so that you know if it goes out, you can change it. It's really more of a convenience point. It also helps those that might be visually or dexterity impaired and have difficulty changing batteries. Those patients can use the rechargeable devices and still stay independent. So that's really nice. What you're looking at on my side, on the left side, are some in-the-ear hearing aids. On the right side are some behind-the-ear hearing aids. You know, at Geneva Hearing Services, we truly are an independent private practice. We get to pick and choose which product is going to be best suited for the patient's hearing loss, their lifestyle, and their budget. So when I'm showing you pictures, it's of different manufacturers. I'm not saying that one is going to be better than the other because it really does depend on the patient. But here, just a couple of different rechargeables. I want to show you some connectivity. We're going to go over 3 different manufacturers for connectivity. This first one that we're looking at is the Starkey Thrive Hearing Control. So Starkey's taking an interesting stance with hearing. There's lots of research that shows people who live long, happy lives will be more social and more physically active even later in life. And so with the Starkey Livio Edge AI product, it actually will track your body movement and your brain activity, your socialization, and allow you to see that, to see, oh, you know, I was a little sedentary today, I didn't get up and move, I better go for a walk, right? Or gosh, I didn't realize I haven't talked to anyone all day, maybe I'll call my sister. So it allows you to track those things. It also allows you to make adjustments to the sound quality of the hearing aid. Let's look at, this is Resound. This is their Smart 3D app. And here you can see, at least on the right side of the graph, you can actually make adjustments to the frequency response of the hearing aid as well as the noise reduction of the hearing aid. So in real time, while you're in that noisy environment, if you're having difficulties, you can open the app and make adjustments to the sound quality of the hearing aid to help you hear better in those noisy environments, which is pretty neat. And then here's just an example of the Phonak app. And again, very similar. It allows you to make adjustments real time in those situations that are most difficult for you. So that's just kind of going over some of the apps that are available. The last advancement in technology that I wanted to review is directional microphones. So there's always been 2 directional microphones. Just at the beginning of the month, I believe, they're now having 3 directional microphones. So we've always had that microphone and this microphone, but now we can even get a microphone inside the receiver or the speaker that goes into the ear canal. Now, that is not appropriate for everybody's hearing loss. Not everybody can have that 3rd speaker. It depends on what your hearing looks like. But what the manufacturer is saying is that by adding this 3rd speaker, we're really able to zoom in front to wherever your nose is pointed. You'll be able to have better clarity from that direction. So again, this is an advancement in technology that's going to improve your clarity or understanding in noisy environments. Now, most importantly, having state-of-the-art technology won't mean much if you're not working with an experienced provider who knows what to do and when to do it. And so I just want to put a little plug in there for all the providers out there who have all this years of experience. It really does make a difference of the person you're working with, not so much the technology that you have. So I hope that was helpful. Here's of course our contact information. If you need to contact us, you can go obviously call us. If you go to our website, you can actually submit a question there and contact us anyway. I'm going to go ahead and just read a chat here, so bear with me. It looks like Pat wants to know why hearing aids cost so much. And that's a great question, Pat. Thank you for asking. So first, there's a wide range in the cost of hearing aids. Believe it or not, we actually have devices that start off at $1,800 a pair, and then they can go up to $7,500 a pair, $10,000 for a pair, believe it or not, and then there's everything in between. And there's really 2 elements that's going to drive the cost of the hearing aid. First is the hearing aid itself, right? The higher the technology of the hearing aid, the more features you have to help you out in background noise, the more automatic the hearing aid becomes, and of course, the higher the cost. So if you're looking at hearing aids that have all the bells and whistles and are completely automatic, they're going to be more expensive than a hearing aid that's really meant for a quiet environment and is more manual, right? The second key element that's going to drive your price is, of course, the services that are included. Now, I just kind of reviewed a lot of the services that we provide to help you hear well, to help keep the hearing aids working well. But those services aren't always free, right? You can get a hearing aid package where services are only included for 75 days, and then you can get a treatment plan where services are included for 3 years. So obviously, the longer services are included, the more expensive a hearing aid can become. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm sorry I didn't realize I still have the PowerPoint open. Let me escape that for you. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and chat to see if there's any other chats in there. It doesn't look like it. I hope that answered some of those questions for you. If you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to call the office, send me an email. We're on Facebook and Google and all the different ways that you can connect with us. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. It is a gorgeous day out there, 80 degrees on a Tuesday. I'll take it any day. So enjoy. Thank you again for attending. And if you need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.